Hello, my name is Kai, and I am a bit of a rambler. I like to travel, learn, and tell stories. And I've now eaten all of the different Silver Queen chocolate bars they have here in Indonesia. I just finished the yogurt and berries one. It was good. It's tasty chocolate. It's pretty good chocolate. I actually don't know if it's Indonesian, but I don't recall seeing them before. Would you like to check with me right now? Oh dang, it really is Indonesian. I wonder if that's why it's so good. Because it's sold in like all of the little convenience stores, but I tried one and the chocolate, I was like, oh, that's pretty good chocolate. Like it tastes like smooth, real chocolate. In fact, that's why I got all of them. I got milk chocolate with cashews, with almonds. This was the Very Berry yogurt, I believe. Yeah, Very Berry yogurt, Silver Queen. And so it's good and it is Indonesian, so it makes perfect sense why I've been eating so many candy bars lately. It's not weird or crazy at all. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I'm in Indonesia. Did I already mention that? I like it here. It's nice. Wait a minute, did I already mention that I'm in Indonesia? Because I feel like I haven't talked about the restaurants or the cookies or anything. I had to write that down. Yeah, there's like been a lot going on. I guess we'll just drop right into this then. I found seaweed snacks like nori, which I have been jonesing for lately. And it's like 35 cents a pack, something like that. I guess 40 cents a pack maybe. But not super cheap, but not really that expensive. And I was very excited, so I bought a bunch of packs of that and kind of pigged out on nori the other day. Actually, there were only 9 packs in the entire package that I bought, and I used to eat literally 100 at a time or more when I bought them in giant boxes in China. So I can't really say I pig out on nori because I don't have a giant cardboard box filled with hundreds of nori packages. My teeth don't hurt after I ate the nori this time, so I didn't pig out. I just had a great snack. A lot of great snacks. And then yesterday I ate another 12 or something. I walked around to the different stores looking who had the cheap ones, what all the different options were. Anyway, yeah, eating some nori. Pretty into it. I tried to get my first bus ticket in Indonesia, and I don't understand. I guess you have to wave down a bus. I'm in this neighborhood. I'm only here for a few weeks, so I don't think I'm going to go all around the city. It's also literally $1 to get a lot of ride shares from one place to another. So I'm probably just going to do that. Plus, I met a guy. He offered to lend me his bicycle, and I haven't got it yet, because I don't know if he's you can borrow it for a day and then I don't know what the terms are, but we talked for a long time, and he told me really cool stories about the mythology of Indonesia, and then we became friends, and he said I could borrow his bicycle if I needed to, if I wanted to. In fact, he was pushing it. He was just take it. And I was oh, I was actually looking at renting a bike. He was no, just use my bike, use mine. So, yeah, I should probably just go get that bike because I do want to ride around a little more so I can get to the buffets easier. And maybe the zoo, I guess. But the buffets are really what's on my mind. Did I talk about the all-you-can-eat buffets? Well, I'm going to talk about them again if I did. They were pretty good. Okay, so there's one place called Kukui, and it's good, but the meat isn't super high quality, and they have a higher quality for another couple dollars, but I didn't get it because I wanted to make sure it was base level good first. And the first one I went to wasn't really base level good. I wouldn't really go back there. But a few days later, I went to the second branch of it, which is closer to my house outside of the city. And generally, when I'm traveling, outside of the city means better food. And street food is better food. But outside of the city, it's they have to make better food because there's not just a steady flow of people all the time. So if they're out in a more suburban neighborhood, there's they have to draw people in with their food. It has to be good. So, and not every restaurant outside of the city center is going to be good, but I find on the whole outside of the city center, there's better food than inside the city center in every single place I have been to. Every single city I've lived in, I mean. And this was better. The second branch was not way better, but the quality of meat was better. And more importantly, I think, the quality of the hot pot base was better. So this was a shabu shabu, all you can eat, and you can choose 2 different broths. And I chose the mala and the whatever the heck the other one was. And the second one, I think the meat was better, but definitely the soup was much better. And the whole thing seemed just a little bit better. Like they were, I don't know, like they had breathing room or something. It was, I'm not sure, but I enjoyed the second one much more. And after the first branch of this hot pot restaurant I went to, I was like, I don't need to go back there. But after the second one, I'm like, I'll probably go back there. But there's a sushi restaurant really close to the hot pot restaurant I went to, and the sushi is also all you can eat. So I might have to do that next and break up my buffets a little bit. I might do that today, actually. It's early enough I could still go. It's called Sushi Yay with an exclamation point. Seems fine. Did I talk about Indonesia at all? I walked... Yeah, it's great. Indonesia's great. The airport's incredibly nice. I took the train into the city, very, very easy. Everything is incredibly cheap here. Everything's like $1 or under. Like I mean, the food, all the plates of food are $1 or under. And a huge bunch of food is maybe $1.50. If you get it's called like a jumbo portion of something, and that could be $1.50, but that is a lot. Like between 75 cents to $1 is pretty normal for all of the restaurants I've been to so far. There's a restaurant I want to try, and everything's 75 cents or so. Or 10,000 out of 16,000, so more like 60 cents. Yeah, everything's 60 cents. That's crazy. Because it's 10,000 rupiah, and almost 17,000 rupiah is $1. So it's only about 60 cents for a lot of the dishes here. I am studying Indonesian. I'm pretty good at it. It seems a lot easier than other languages I've studied, and I was really excited the first couple days. But I am only going to be here a few months, and turns out there are a lot of English speakers in Indonesia, and they're really happy to see me. I've actually had 2 different people ask to take pictures with me. 2 dudes from 2 restaurants, actually. I talked to them. They both spoke English, and then they both asked for pictures when I left. I'm probably going to go back to the first guy today because I haven't got the mie goreng in a while. And theirs was really good because it was very dry fried and delicious. It sounds like there's some kind of ceremony going on outside for the last hour. Anyway, the first... Oh, right. So that guy with the mie goreng. There's another restaurant with Adele and Baban, wife and husband, who run a food stall, and his food is the best, though. He has the most interesting flavors, and it seems like he has his recipe, his cooking method on lock. Like, I've been there, I think 3 times now, maybe twice, maybe only twice, but I got several things both times, and all of his stuff is very good, very unique, very focused, and just distinct flavors. Whereas, like, you can go to a lot of places, and if the food's similar, it just tastes similar. Like, I went to a nasi goreng place, the fried rice, and it sucked. But I saw his fried rice yesterday, and it looked good, and I'm gonna get that the next time I go over there. He also used to work in a hotel, at a Chinese hotel, and cooked in the kitchen there, and so now he has a little section of Chinese dishes also. And Java food, like on this island, Indonesian on the island of Java, is pretty sweet most of the time. There's always some sweet thing, but all the Chinese stuff is really salty. So the Chinese menu is all salty, so I'm going to get that next time I go there, probably the black pepper chicken. I don't like chicken, but chicken's, it's big everywhere, and there's not... Actually, he has a lot to choose from. I got fried cabai garam shrimp, which was really interesting. It's breaded and fried shrimp, but his breading and frying was so good. It was so good. And then I wanted to get the breaded fried eel or squid yesterday, and I did, but he added the sauce on, like included together, because he didn't have separate sauce packets. So I didn't get the same crunch I did the first time from the chabe garam. But that's okay. It was still super, super good. And I'll probably go back there and just get it there so that it'll still be crunchy. What else? Oh, they have really good lemon tea here. The lemon teas are all, 50? So 28 cents each, something like that. For a big, like, half liter of lemon iced tea. I got iced tea from this one guy, and it was good, but there was, like, coffee mixed into the tea, and I just don't like coffee very much, so the flavor wasn't great, but it was even cheaper. It was, like, 25 cents. Yeah, it's the prices have really, really surprised me here. Like, they're on par with India, which is even cheaper than China, and I'm not sure why. Like, there's also nobody here. There's no other foreigners even in the city here. Like, zero. I don't think there must have been, but I don't even remember another foreigner on the plane coming over here. So I don't know if something's up with Indonesia. I'm just blissfully unaware. I mean, I know there are a lot of volcano eruptions, and people die every 10 years because the volcanoes erupt. It's been 10 years, by the way, so knock on wood for me. But yeah, I don't know. It's just local here. And also, I definitely chose the right city. It's very chill here. It's a city, like, it's a big enough city that it is a city. And there's plenty of stuff to, like, be interested in. It's fun. But it's also not Bali or Jakarta or any huge things. It is less than 5% population of those cities. So it's pretty nice. I guess 3%, which is great. It's 97% less people than those cities. Great. 375,000 instead of 10 million plus. I haven't gone to the zoo yet. I'm not planning on going to Komodo Island. I just want to see a Komodo dragon. I gotta look for a reptile house. I'm gonna write that. Hey, Google, remind me in 5 minutes to look for a reptile house. Because they have a zoo here, but they don't have a specific reptile house that I've seen, but I haven't looked. So I should look, because I don't know if they have the Komodo dragons at the zoo, which they should, but I didn't see them in all the pictures. And I figure if they have a Komodo dragon in the zoo, it would be in one of the pictures on Google Photos. I'll go there anyway, though. I think they had like an elephant. And I was like, what? How would you have an elephant, not a Komodo dragon, in Indonesia, where Komodo dragons are from? What was I talking about? Good food. Anyway, yeah, there's great food here. So, of course, I've learned the food first. There's the nasi goreng, there's ayam, there's cumi, which is squid, there's udang, which is shrimp, there's bakmi, which is one type of noodle. I like the kwetiau, which is a flat type of flour noodle. And I've been getting a bunch of great food. They also have my favorite cookies here, which I put a post on the Lemmy travel community. And people, they're apparently from all over the world, and I thought they were at least an Asian thing because I found them first in Taiwan, but I never found their names. I think someone called them gems, or it was on a bag or something, and a whole bunch of people from the UK and Ireland wrote back that they're called gems in their countries. And then a dude from South America wrote back and said they're called 100 in a mouth, or florets, basically, like little flowers. And florets or little flowers little flowers sounds the best, probably. So they're from everywhere. They do have them everywhere, and I don't see them everywhere. And I looked for them for years while I was traveling. They're always like a little difficult to find, but in England, they're just in Tesco's, apparently. You can just buy them in Tesco's, which was interesting to find out. Here, I was just going around looked in a dry goods store or a dry food store, and there's just giant jars of stuff. And in one of them was a whole, like, pounds of my favorite little bite-sized cookies. And they're totally delicious, and I got a bunch, and then I got a bunch more a few days later because I love them, and I don't know when I'll see them again. They're tiny little biscuits with just a thing of dried powdered sugar frosting on top. So they're crunchy, but it's powdered sugar, so it dissolves really quickly, and it's just like a little bite They're like nickel sized or a little smaller than a quarter. And they're quite tasty, and I can eat a whole bag of them without blinking. So I tried to get a bus ticket, didn't work. There were platforms everywhere. I haven't seen anyone get on a bus, but the buses always look full. And you can only get on the bus at the bus stops. And I was at a bus stop, and the driver and everyone was like looking at me, and I was looking at them, but I didn't raise my hand to wave them down. Maybe that's why they didn't stop. And then they just kept driving. I don't know. I'm a little confused by the bus thing, but I'll probably get the bike and whatever. I'm perfectly happy living in my neighborhood. It's pretty quiet except for the calls to prayer, which I do like hearing. There was a really cool thunderstorm the other day, and I got a good picture of a lightning bolt coming down, but I missed like 3 other really good pictures of lightning bolts. But I should be happy with what I got. It's the first time. Well, you know what? That's not even true. I didn't take a picture of it. I took a video and just held my phone. And then I took one of the frames out of that when I was lucky enough to catch a lightning bolt on film. There were a couple, but they didn't come out. And then one of them I actually did catch on film, and I took out a frame, and it's a pretty cool looking picture. Oh, my microphone bolt. So the bolt for my microphone stand that holds the actual microphone onto the pole arm of the microphone stand was lost. And I was freaking out because I was like, I guess I can buy like a bolt, like an actual screw bolt to like substitute for it. And I was trying to figure it out. And then I just looked through everything, and it was in the bottom of my bag because I remembered I had to take it out. Someone looked at it in Japan, and I actually had to take it out and then put it back in. And I was like, maybe I just didn't screw it in enough, and it fell out in my backpack. And I got so lucky, and it was in the bottom of my rucksack. Oh, calls to prayer starting up. I guess you can listen to the calls to prayer in the background, because we're just rambling on. This doesn't have to be all profesh. Snake. Whoa, that one's... Okay, he's pretty loud, so there's going to be a call to prayer behind this. And I like it, so. Snake. I'm not religious or anything. I just like the Muslim calls to prayer. I think they just sound better. I think their vowels sound better to me than all the other divine chantings that I've heard. More Gregorian-like, but they're like yearning. The Muslim calls to prayer are all yearning. I can hear it very clearly. Where I just hear like boredom in most divine calls to prayer or calls to prayer. Snake saw a snake. It had little red eyes with vertical pupils and a real skinny neck and a diamond-shaped head, and I was like, oh dang, but it looks like someone had squashed its head before I showed up. So that's good because I didn't get bit by a poisonous snake. And I was worried that it was poisonous because there are a bunch of poisonous snakes here. But I threw it online, and then I checked, and AI said it was probably a python. And when I typed that, someone responded and said, yeah, that's a python, because I guess they grew up in snake country. And pythons are non-venomous, so I was pretty relieved when I heard that, because it's right on the side of the road. But apparently the Malaysian pit viper is super, like, pretty venomous, I'll say. And it also just lies on the side of the road. So that's what I thought it was at first. But this has like a fishnet pattern on its back, and it doesn't have the black stripe that the pit vipers have. Anyway, it was pretty big. It was, I don't know, easily a couple feet long. So big enough to freak me out. But luckily it was dead. So I poked it with a stick and turned it over so I could see. And took a picture so that I could post it on the travel community. And some people were kind of interested. Restaurants. So there was the first one. I met a guy and his father, and they made really good mie goreng, which is like fried rice noodles, I think. But they're not regular rice noodles. That's why I want to go back, because I'm curious. Maybe they were bak mi, like the regular flour noodles here, because they didn't taste like chewy, but he also cooked them dry. Yeah, I got to go back to that guy, because that was a very, very, very tasty mie goreng. That might be better than the kwetiao, actually. The kwetiao is really good. Maybe I'm just getting too much spice on the kwetiao. But I like the kwetiao also. I'll try the mie goreng again, we'll see. And then the second guy, yeah, so I became kind of friendly with Baban and Adele because they could both speak like a little bit of English and they were really excited to speak English. Baban especially, he just wanted to keep talking to me to the point that yesterday he was kind of ignoring the other customers because he was so excited about speaking in English with me, which happens in a lot of countries. People are excited to practice their English. 1.7 billion students in the world, you know? So when you get an opportunity, and I must be the only English speaker he's seen in years. It's kind of, I should go into the middle of the city because more than India, like, actually, I guess there was nobody in India also. But this feels like that. This feels like India where I'm like, I don't even think if I go to the city center, I'm going to see another non-local. Bhubaneswar, I felt that, and here I'm like, is there anyone here? You know what? There were two non-Indonesians I remember on the flight, but when they got here, they like stood to attention at the Indonesian like national song that plays. So they were weird. That's the end of that story. I don't know. I was like, maybe they're cult members. Is there cults here? What? What is up with Indonesia? I don't know anything about Indonesia, except apparently they have big volcanoes that explode every 10 years. Lightning bolts. Oh, I wrote that down. I already got the lightning bolts. So it's rainstorms. It's monsoon season here. I'm very excited about that. I love my monsoons. And I just sat out when it was monsooning and watched the rain and lightning. It was totally awesome. It was great. And it sounded like a little rain today, but no more storms yet. But I'm smack dab in the middle of rainstorm season, so I'll hold out some hope for some more violent thunderbolts and crashing rain. Oh, did I mention the host? The host is still being super weird. The shower smells like sulfur, like really strong, and he didn't provide a towel, and there's a weird stain on the couch. And it's tiny, though. The house is very nice. There's just, I don't know why they would leave this weird, obvious stain that could be cleaned up, because I don't even know if it's a stain. There's just something brown on the couch that I'm like, you took so much time to clean everything else in the house. Why wouldn't you clean that? So maybe it's just new, and that's why it's still clean, because it's weird they left that big, gross mark on the couch. But the place is pretty nice beyond that, and aside from when there's calls to prayers, which I like, it's pretty silent out here. So I like that a lot too. I like quiet neighborhoods. There's a bunch of food stalls everywhere. Everybody in the neighborhood has been super nice. I actually spoke like really crappy Indonesian to a guy who didn't speak any English. And everyone just seems really happy to see me here. A guy stopped on his moped to introduce his son to me. But I was like already walking to go get my seaweed snacks. So we talked for a few minutes, and then it looked like he was like, keep this content. It looked like he wanted me to keep talking, and I was like, well, it's been great. Have a great dinner. Like, okay, bye. And I was a little brusque, but I answered a lot of his questions. I didn't ask his name when he was talking to me. I was listening to a podcast and walking, and I was just like in the mode. So, and he stopped on like a busy street. He stopped without, he didn't pull over at first. He just stopped in the road, and other people had to stop behind him on their scooters because he had just stopped. And it was only after someone honked that he like looked behind him, realized there was a bunch of people, and rode off to the side of the road so he could talk to me. Yeah, it was weird. But he was very nice and told me about beer, and he was like, there's a place I like to go to drink beer. And I was like, that's great. I'm not drinking right now. I'm being healthy, which is true, except I did go to the beer store just to try all the Indonesian beers, and I got one of each, and it was incredibly expensive, like maybe $2 each beer, which, like, if you think of how cheap a tea that you can buy with as much volume of beer is like 20, 15 cents or something like that. So it's pretty crazy. 2018. Wait, 2000 is 1/8. So 12 cents. 12 cents for a giant jumbo tea, iced tea. And the beers are like 40,000, 20 times as expensive. And the beers taste normal. They taste like beers. They actually taste pretty good, but it had been a few days since I had a beer, and I didn't drink too much, so maybe that's just circumstantially good. The beers tasted fine, but there's no way it's worth $2. And also, they're not super convenient to find. I know where to get them now, but I'm just gonna, it's healthy time. I'm gonna be healthy because I just got drunk back in Hawaii for a few weeks. So, where the beers were cheaper. Yeah, I know, Hawaii, but if there's anything they do cheaper, it's the beers. It's Bud Light. It's cheap Bud Light. Oh, there's the rain. All right, cool. Listen to the rain while we finish this up. Rainstorms on here again, because I was very excited about those. Oh, I got new glasses. So I went through all this trouble to take a test, and we did a lot of the test, and it came out good, and it felt good, and we did those test glasses, and I was like, great. And then the lady was like, you should just get 1+1, because you're almost 40, and the older you get, the more farsighted you're going to get, so you'll need more magnification anyway. These will last longer. And I let her talk me into getting the +1 prescriptions instead of the +0.5, +0.75 that we tested and it came out as, because my left eye isn't as strong. And they're not very good. I also chose frames that I don't particularly like. That was dumb. But the nice thing is they have a warranty, so I can go back and replace the lenses, which were not made as good as my Cambodian glasses. And also, those glasses were so unimpressive, these new ones, to be perfectly honest, that I just went and got super glue, fixed the frames of my old 10-year-old Cambodian glasses, shined it up with the new glass cleaning wipe microfiber cloth they gave me, and they look great. They look really good, to be perfectly honest, to the point that I didn't know they could clean up this good. I've tried cleaning them with paper towels for a long time, but I should have just tried a microfiber, because now that I've super glued them and I microfibered them, they look almost new. There's definitely, I think, a scratch in the middle of the right lens, but I wouldn't even notice it. And there's no blurring on the edge of any of the lens in the Cambodian one, which is the first pair of glasses I've ever had that have done that don't have any blurring at the edges of the lens. Always has that, especially on the bottom. And the good guy in Cambodia was just like, yeah, they're just not good at cutting lenses, is basically it. Or they're like trying to be cheap and giving you not a new piece of lens. So that's probably what happened here, because these ones are blurry on the bottom, the new ones. But now I only paid $20. I paid $20 for the new lenses and glasses, and there's a 2-week warranty. So I'm going to go back and see if I can get new lenses. But if they still suck, now that I've cleaned up my Cambodian glasses, I might just keep wearing them until they're completely unseeable, because they're great. They've always worked perfectly. They still work perfectly. I got like eye strain and like hurt my eyes wearing these new ones. Like it hurt. And it's only been a few days since, maybe 4 days in total since I got them. But it's getting a little better. Like I can see easy through them, but it's also clear now that the bottom has that blurriness. And also it just feels too strong for my eyes to use those new ones. So I'm going to try and use the warranty and get the prescription that we talked about. And then if that works, that's great. But I actually don't like these frames. That was my bad. I really like the Cambodian frames I got. They're super, super cheap, but instead of those little things they have sticking out that stand on your nose, it's just part of the frame, like a swooping manta ray fin. Much more comfortable for me to wear. So I'm perfectly happy just keeping these Cambodian glasses also, if that's what it comes down to. Because it was only $20, and that's because I got the expensive ones. If I had gotten the cheap ones, it's only $10 for a pair of lenses and the frames here. So I can try like 10 different spots, and if I find one that's half as good as the Cambodian glasses, it'll be great. Well, as good as the Cambodian glass. These new ones I got are half as good as the Cambodian glasses, but I want better ones. But I was thinking I'll just go to different countries and try and get a pair of $10 glasses or $20 glasses in each country, and I'll probably eventually find one that are pretty good. And until then, I can use my Cambodian glasses that have held up incredibly well over 10 years. So I'm excited that I at least went through the process of trying to get new glasses, even if I was talked into +1. I was talked into basically a too strong prescription. And I asked her, and I'm sure she's right. She was like, yeah, but the longer you have them, like the more this will make sense. Like you'll need more magnifying power later on. But I don't, that's like a decade ahead. I don't want to plan ahead that far. So I should have just tried my prescription that we tested for. And the color's weirder. Like the color of the Cambodian glass is perfect, and the colors of these ones like block out, like they're yellow tinted or something of the new. I don't know. I'm not gonna get the fancy one. If I have to pay for it, I'm gonna get the regular lenses. But just trying to get new glasses means that now I fixed up my Cambodian glasses by myself. Could have done it for $1 a year ago. But now that I have these and they're all nice, I'm pretty happy with my Cambodian glasses again. I'm very happy. I'm very happy that I still have them, considering. I just need some super glue and apparently a microfiber cloth. I thought the scratches and lenses themselves were way more damaged than they were. I thought it was just time, because it's been 10 years. So I was like, well, it's got to be time. Like, I guess the lenses are degrading. And maybe they are, but they still feel way more comfortable than the new pair I just got. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Because I'm going to get the warranty, redeem the warranty on like Monday. Because they told me, well, wait for a few more days and see how it feels. But it's obvious to me. The lenses are blurry on the bottom and the magnification is too strong. So I'm just going to wear my Cambodian glasses, but wait a few days so they think that I'm testing their new glasses. And then I'm going to take advantage of that warranty that she told me about very kindly. She didn't have to tell me that, but she did. So that's great. I'm using the fan here from the house to dry my clothing that I wash in the shower. There's no washing machine here, but it was a new house and it was far away from everything. And again, I am really glad with this neighborhood. So I just wash my clothes when I take a shower, and then I have a fan on the ground pointing up, and that dries my clothing. It's super cheap to wash your clothes here. It's less than $1. It's like 70 cents. Something like 70 cents. No, 60 cents. Yeah. It's like 60 cents to wash and dry your clothes. But I just don't want to carry them. And it's so easy to wash them in the shower here. I don't know. Maybe I'll wash them at a laundromat right before I leave or something. But it's pretty, and I have all day here. That's the other thing. I'm retired, so I just have all day to wash clothes occasionally. Yeah, there was no towel. Oh, right. The host was kind of weird. He's been weird. So the host agreed to my booking. And then after he agreed to the booking, he asked me to pay for utilities here. And I was like, well, no, because that was not in the house instructions or rules or the booking agreement. And he got upset, and Airbnb, he didn't get upset. He just kept saying, you have to pay for utilities, which is not how it's usually done on Airbnb. And Airbnb support had to talk to him for like 6 days. And finally on the 6th day, I was just like, hey, I'm not paying for utilities, so you can cancel. And I said that on the first day too. He asked me to cancel twice, but I was like, it's non-refundable reservation and you confirmed it. So you have to cancel it and then I'll get my refund. And he said that it's impossible to cancel it from the host side, which is incorrect. All hosts can cancel their reservations. He probably just doesn't want to get like a mark or a warning or whatever. But the house itself is nice, and I'm very happy with the neighborhood, and I found great restaurants and good people, so pretty happy where I ended up. But when I got in, the shower smelled like sulfur, and there was no towels, and there was something, yeah, whatever. There was a bunch of small things, like that weird stain on the couch, and I told him about the sulfur smell, and I was like, does it usually smell like that? And he just said, yes, usually smells like that. And I was like, okay. And I just flushed the tank a couple times, which took care of most of the smell. It's usually bacteria building up in the filter of like your water tank. And yeah, I've smelled it before. I've looked it up before. So I just flushed the tank a couple times and then it's much less noticeable. And it's not unhealthy also to sulfur. It's just like a gas that bacteria who live in water filters often give off. So the gas floats off. So after you take a bath in sulfur water, it's like a hot spring. You don't smell like sulfur after. The gas evaporates and you smell normal. It's just a stinky smell while you're showering. But yeah, the host answers questions very obliquely. So I'm like, can you bring a towel? And he says, if you don't know what you're going to get, you shouldn't book a reservation. And I'm like, okay, can I get a towel? Oh, the water too. He mentioned there was water here and there was a big tank of mineral water and it was empty. And I was like, you said the mineral water was supposed to be full, right? And yes, it is. So I sent him a picture of the empty jug and was like, this one's empty. And he was like, well, then I guess they forgot. And nothing else. So I have to ask, okay, so can you replace the water? He says, yes, but we're praying right now. So I'm not, it was just always very hostile and weird. And I gotta say, this is the first time in a decade that a host has been this weird and non-communicative. So I just think he's pouting that he filled out the booking agreement wrong and he didn't realize that Airbnb hosts usually pay utilities because he did not want to pay utilities, clearly. So I did get a towel and the water eventually, but when I checked in, he didn't send check-in instructions. I arrived here and I was in the city and I had to ask him hey, so I am here. The host is supposed to send check-in instructions, and every single one for a decade has sent me because that's a basic part of Airbnb. This guy just didn't talk to me since he agreed to pay his own utilities. And when I got here, he still hadn't contacted me. So I had to message him hey, I'm here. And then I had to message him again. I'm here. Where do I check in? And he just wrote back, meet at the address at 2. That's it. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I'll be there at 3. I'm going to grab some food. And he said, perfect. So I got there at 3 and there was nobody there and there was a locked gate. And I could see that was the place I was supposed to go, but it's way out it's outside of the city, like I mentioned, and nobody was there to greet me. And I still hadn't got any message. So I messaged the guy and he didn't answer for 10 minutes. So I messaged him again. And then after 15 minutes total, he was like, go in, the key is under the ashtray. And I was, okay. And I realized the key, it wasn't actually, there's a huge padlock on the gate of the house, but you could reach through the bars. This is very common in other countries, and just lift it up and slide it out like the bar locking. The padlock was not actually barring entry. So I opened the outer gate, found the key under the ashtray, and went in. And then I found these, the shower smelled weird and all that kind of stuff. And I messaged him, and he said, well, if you don't know what you're going to get, you shouldn't book a reservation, which is not how Airbnb works and is pretty rude for a host to say. And he said, if you have problems, just talk to Aris. And I was like, Aris? And he's like, yes. And I was, is that another host? Because if there's another person, you're supposed to mention. He didn't send me any instructions for the house, who to talk to. And he just told me to talk to Aris. And he said, the security guard. But there's no security guard booth here. And he didn't say, Aris speaks English, or you have to speak Indonesian, or where to find Aris. So I just said, okay, great, and then ignored that because it's not worth talking to this guy. He's so oblique with his answers, I'll have to ask 5 different things just to get an answer that will probably not be helpful in the end. So I basically just stopped talking to the host since I checked in here, and I'm just like, well, I'm in a nice house, and there is electricity. Oh, the electricity went out for a minute yesterday, and I asked him about it, and less than a minute later, the electricity came back on. So I don't actually know if it was just a blackout or if he turned the electricity back on. But yeah, what a weirdo that guy is. I don't know what he's thinking too, because I was very nice to him, and I literally said, hey, I'm just letting you know this stuff because these are the Airbnb policies that hosts and guests use together. You have to send check-in instructions. That's when the check-in instructions was when he wrote, if you doubt the listing, do not reserve. Okay, man, but you confirmed the listing and then you refused to cancel. Still, Airbnb support totally has had my back this whole time. They talked to him, explained the policy. I am living in a nice house with electricity. There's AC. It's less than $300 a month. I mean, there's nothing to complain about. I'm just talking about this because this is a Ramble On episode. I only messaged that guy that like one day since I moved in, I think. And then just yesterday I had to be like, hey, the electricity is out. But then it came back on like right when I sent the message. So it might have just been a short blackout. So there's no... Yeah, it's still great. Like, there's so little trouble. Like, imagine if you were living in a house with a landlord and you had signed a contract and all this kind of crap. Like, it's so much trouble to fix any of those problems. Like, oh yeah, I'll send someone out there to blah, 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 and I'll fix it in like 2 weeks. This, if something breaks in the house and the host doesn't fix it, you call Airbnb support and it gets fixed. So I'm still having a great time, and this house is new, so nothing is broken yet. And even though the guy has been whining, he delivered the mineral water. He gave me a towel. And the house is nice. It's a pretty nice place to be hanging out for a month in Indonesia. I'm having a great time. It's really nice here. Like, the food's really good. I would probably stay here longer because it's also so cheap. But I gotta go to that wedding, and then I gotta get back into East Asia. Maybe Mongolia, maybe some Japanimation. I don't know, I'll figure out where I'm going soon. I still have some breathing room because there's an extra 12 days in Philippines, so I don't have to buy my ticket right away, but I gotta decide if I'm going to Japan before I go up to Mongolia, because that's the plan. I want to get up to Mongolia. I just feel like that's where I'm supposed to go next. And do I stop at China first? It's tricky. I gotta decide this stuff. Thanks for listening to all this crap. It's awesome traveling. Like, there's so little... All of this, it's just me walking around eating great food and meeting super nice people. This, like, irritating text exchange is all of the stress that I've had so far since Indonesia, the first week of Indonesia. I had, like, a 3-minute text exchange where I was like, okay, this guy's just going to be irritating, so I won't talk to him. And then all the rest of it has just been great food and cool, like amazing plant life and animals and just a fun time. New glasses, all good stuff. Oh, the satay! I should talk about the satay. Okay, let's end on the satay. There's different types of satay, which are like skewers of meat. And I tried a couple and they sucked. And then I saw satay padang, which is supposed to be better. And it's so good. It's from Sumatra, where they have like more curry type spices and marinated meat. And their beef skewers were fresh and the stew was great. And they had like fresh rice cakes to dip in the stew. Oh my gosh, it was so freaking good. I went back there and got a jumbo serving of it. Highly recommend satay padang. I guess it's Padang. Satay Padang? Padang. Maybe it's Padang. I don't know. It's great. Padang. If you want to talk to me, bitofarambler@gmail.com, or you can go to crazypeople.online/c/travel. That's the travel community. I hope you're having a great day. I'm having an awesome day. Bit of a Rambler on Blue Sky and Lemmy. And I'll talk to you soon.